is going on, everybody? This is Davey from the 80s, and you are now in GBA Reviews, also known as the good, the bad, and the atrocious. Now, today we're going to be talking about something special. I was watching this documentary series, a web series called Dark Side of the Ring, episode 10, and this episode is about the late, great Owen Hart. So today, that's what we're going to be talking about, episode 10, The Last Days of Owen Hart. Now, for those of you that don't know, Owen Hart suffered a fatal injury when he fell from the top of the stadium, coming down as his persona as a blue blazer, right? So he was going to come down on kind of like a cable and fly down to the ring. And what happened was it unlatched and he plummeted to his death. So this documentary is basically talking about how he kind of started his career, the mid-level of his career, and then also the ending of his career, and they talk about the death, right? They also speak with family and friends and things of that nature. So what do I remember about that day? I think it was at the pay-per-view Over the Edge. It was in 99. I actually was watching that pay-per-view with my neighbor, and I remember he was going to fight someone. And it wasn't until I saw the documentary that I remembered who he was actually going to fight. He was actually going to face the Godfather in his blue blazer persona, right? And me personally, I wasn't a fan of his blue blazer persona. I didn't like the whole, drink your milk, take your vitamins. I didn't like it. It was comedic. To me, it was beneath Owen Hart, right? I liked Owen Hart, when he, that persona, that heel turn that he took after he injured Stone Cold when he did that little power driver and messed up his neck. And he started to wear, the little the tank top with the little caution tape all over it, and he had that whole enough is enough, it's time for a change, that whole thing. That's the one part I like, right? But so he took on this blue blazer persona, and what I remember is this: all of a sudden I noticed that they were panning the stadium, right? The stadium was super quiet, we're watching this on pay-per-view at home, and they're panning the stadium and they're just showing the people in the stands. I'm like, why are they doing that? They're not showing anyone in the ring. Why are they not showing anybody in the ring? And then JR starts talking about how there was an accident. Owen Hart had a fall. He's in the ring, et cetera, et cetera. They would not show the ring. Obvious reasons, because, a wrestler's injured on the ring. So I remember when they took him out of the stadium, after they cleared the stadium, cleared the ring, they kept going. They kept the pay-per-view going. And I'm just thinking to myself, man, that's crazy. This man just hurt himself and they just keep going. All right, whatever, right? So we're watching the matches. All of a sudden, I remember this vividly. Before I was watching the documentary, I remember watching that match. And I was like, is that blood in the ring? There was blood on the side of the canvas. I'm like, that wasn't there before. Was that Owen Hart's blood? Was that blood from Owen Hart? Also, while they're wrestling, I remember there was a huge dent inside the ring. And I'm like, I wonder if that was from his fall, right? And watch this documentary, and in the scene they're talking about how they continue to wrestle even with his blood on the ring and that dent in the mat. So that was caused by his fall, right? Now, this documentary is very emotional. It touches on a lot of topics, such as the WWE's or WWF's responsibility for his death and the things they probably could have did to prevent that from happening. I don't want to go too much into detail right now, but what I am going to do is I'm going to talk about this is going to be the spoiler part of this discussion, because if you want to just go and watch it, go ahead, be my guest. But right now, I'm going to start talking about stuff that was actually in the documentary. So if you don't want to hear this and you want to just hear it for yourself, then my advice is click off the video right now and go watch the documentary. You can watch it on YouTube. There are a couple of subscribers or pages or channels that actually posted the video up, or you can buy it for Vice for $2, but there's somebody that has it out there for free. So you've been warned. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so in the documentary, they talk about Owen Hart's wife talks about her pursuit for justice by suing the WWE, right? And the thing that irritated me the most was that I thought that the Hart family was going to be they were going to support her, right? Because that was their baby brother, that was their cousin, nephew, all of the above, right? That was their relative. No, they didn't. A lot of them didn't want her to pursue legal action against the WWE, WWF, because they were afraid that it was going to taint their name and that Vince McMahon wasn't going to hire them anymore, right? So they were worried about that. So a lot of them were against her pursuing legal action against the WWF, WWE, right? They were actually sabotaging her, stealing her court documents and things like that in order to give it to the defense, right? And I'm just like, really? Like, that's crazy. Your own family, like, she's out here defending her husband and defending his name, and you're out here like going against her. You're working against her, right? Which to me upset me the most, right? So then another thing in the documentary that threw me off was that I don't know his name. I forgot his name. He was actually trending when this documentary came out, but JR is asking, okay, what's the update on Owen Hart? Like, what's going on? Like, what's the status, right? And the guy that's in the back, he's just like, Owen's dead and you're live in 10, 9, 8. Like, without even warning, he's dead. All right, you're live, 10, 9, 8. So on the fly, JR has to come up with this speech or kind of break the news with like no warning, like barely with any prep time, any warning, and it just happened just like that, right? And to me, that was messed up. That was ridiculous. Panning back, the reason why she was Owen's wife was taking legal action is because she said that the people that rigged the device were not qualified in order to do that. So what happened was they were saying that they used a hook that's used for sailing, like sailboats, and it's not meant to sustain an actual person. And they did it because they wanted it to click off real quick, like, you know, just like really detach real fast because they wanted it to look as authentic as possible, right? They didn't want it to look corny or cheesy or scripted, right? So they used this device, and what ended up happening was the device opened while he was going down and he just fell. And the reason she said that instead of the WWE hiring someone that was qualified to do the job, that they just picked whoever was the cheapest, right? So that was her biggest pursuit, and I think she ended up winning $13 million from the WWE/WWF, right? And I know that family they don't want Owen's name in the Hall of Fame. They don't want his name anywhere to do with anything. They don't want his name to do with anything with that company because they feel like that company is responsible for his death, right? And so that's that. It's just I had to get that off my chest. It came to my mind. I had to say it, right? Moving on. The fact that the WWE/WWF had a part of his career where Owen Hart was in the most dumbest roles, like that Blue Blazer role, I didn't understand why they did it, right? And a lot of it was because they didn't know what to do with them. During the Attitude Era, it was a lot of scripted stuff. You had to basically be an actor. And Owen was like, kind of like, I don't like this whole drama. I don't like this daytime television stuff. I don't like it, you know? So they ended up giving him the Blue Blazer role. And a lot of people, including myself, felt like it was beneath him. Like, he's an amazing athlete. He was an amazing performer. So I thought, you know, eventually one day he can hold the title. You know, it's Brett's little brother. So Jericho brings up a great point, Chris Jericho. He goes, the WWE wasted his talent and they didn't know what to do with him, so they started throwing him in really stupid roles. I think even for a while he joined like the Nation of Domination or something, which was really like, what? So they didn't know what to do with him. And it's sad that they didn't know what to do with him because he's not an actor versus they didn't know what to do with him because he wasn't a top performer. He was a top performer, like as in athletic, like in the rings, but he wasn't an actor. So they didn't know what to do with him because he didn't fit the mold at the time. And Jericho points this out. He says, if they just would have, if he would have held out, well, you know, if he didn't die, what happened next was that you had Eddie Guerrero win the title. You had Chris Benoit win the title. You had Rey Mysterio win the title for a while. You had all these small guys that were very athletic and, like, you know, and knew the ins and outs of being in the ring. They were performers. They were top-notch performers. He said without a doubt he believes that Owen Hart would have been in that collection. And I completely agree with it, right? Because watching Eddie Guerrero, I thought that his ceiling was like Intercontinental Champion. That's it, right? I never thought he would ever be a world champion. I never thought Chris Benoit would be a world champion. I think Rey Mysterio held the title for a while. I didn't think he was going to do it either, right? So without a doubt, I believe that Owen Hart would have had a title run, and he would have probably provided some of, depending on who he was matched up against, he would have provided some of the greatest matches ever, because his match with Bret Hart was amazing, right? That's one of the best matches that I've seen him perform in a while, and it was very technical, right? Because it's like the prodigies of Stu Hart going against each other. It was amazing. Now, let's see. Those were the most of the takeaways that I had from this documentary. If you get a chance, I really want you to go check that documentary series out, at least especially episode 10. They also have a really good episode. The first 2 episodes of the season, the first one's about Eddie Guerrero and his death, and the second one's about Chris Benoit and his death, right, and his family. Those 2 episodes are also amazing. They're really good watches, right? Very informative. So why don't you guys go ahead, jump on YouTube, and try to track down those episodes? I'm pretty sure they're up there. You can find them. Me, personally, I'm probably about to go watch the episode about the Road Warrior Hawk, because I think he killed himself. Not 100% sure, but I know he was battling depression and like drug use and stuff. So I'm about to go check that out right now after I knock out a couple more of these reviews. But when you guys get a chance, Dark Side of the Ring, episode 10, The Last Days of Owen Hart, go check it out. It's on YouTube. I'm positive you can find it. If you want to support it through legal means, you can buy it from Vice. Vice has it for like $2 an episode, I guess. But until then, this is Davey from the 80s, and this is GBA Reviews, and I am out. Adios.